Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking about binding in the summertime. So a couple of months ago, I had made this video called FTM Binding Tips and Tricks, which you can check out over here if you haven't already seen it. And basically what that video was a small compilation of just things that I thought were important to know when you're starting to bind. So it's basically just the basics. So if you want to check that out, you can click over here and watch that first. This video, however, is going to be tips and tricks for binding in the summertime or when it's just really hot, and I'm also going to be talking about swimming in binders. So here we go, FTM binding tips and tricks for the summertime. So in my previous video, I had talked about two different kinds of binders, one of them being the full tank binder, which I have from Underworks, and the other one being the tri-top binder, which I also have from Underworks. I also talked about G2B, but I have not bought any of their binders, so I don't have any reviews for you guys, but I do know that it is a very popular website to get binders from, so I'm sure that they are pretty reliable. The first thing that I'm going to say is that it's probably 1,000 times more comfortable to bind in a tri-top during the summer than in the full tank, because it gets very hot and it gets very sticky and it gets very sweaty, and that's really not fun. So the tri-top is a really good binder to use during the summer because it really only comes up to about here. Last time I had also said that I prefer the full-length binders, but after buying a couple of tri-top ones for the summer specifically, I found that they are a lot more comfortable and I like them a lot better. Not only just because they are cooler and only come up to here and my stomach doesn't have to be constricted all day, but they also seem to bind me better. I don't really know why. I just feel that they work a little bit better. Maybe it's because these feel a little bit tighter than my other ones. Maybe it's because they're a little newer, but I do really like the tri-top ones. The only problem that I really have with the tri-top binders is that they are sometimes visible when you're wearing a tank top like this. The most noticeable place that they are visible is under the arms, a little bit in the back, and sometimes right up here on the neckline. It really depends on the shirt that you're wearing, but this doesn't bother me too much as I can just play it off as like an undershirt or something. It's kind of a good and a bad thing that it comes up so high because it's really keeping in all the side boob, but it gets a little bit painful after an entire day of wearing it because it's constantly rubbing up against your armpit. But other than that, I really don't have any problems with the tri-top binders. I really like them a lot, definitely for summer. It's a really good choice for summer. Another thing that's pretty important is when people bind, they sometimes tend to get rashes or there's a lot of sweat and it's very uncomfortable and it's chafing, and that's not fun. I would suggest one of two things for this problem, one being using baby powder and applying it before you put on your binder. The other being something that I know a couple of people do, is putting on a tank top underneath your binder or using a sports bra underneath your binder because it will stop the chafing a little bit. I have not personally done this, I just kind of put the binder on and hope that I don't get a rash. As I have mentioned in the other binding video, please do not sleep in your binder, do not swim in your binder, and do not work out in your binder because when you sweat and the binder gets wet, it gets tight and it gets uncomfortable and it gets hard to breathe. But Underworks has come out with a swimming binder that looks like this. The Underworks swim binder is actually pretty pricey, so I understand if you do not have the money to buy them. They are more money than the actual binders, but I have used it, so I can tell you that it works pretty decently. I wanted to wait until after I had used this to make this video, so I did actually use it. I went to a pool party, and I think that it binds very well. I think that it looks good, and when you're swimming, it feels completely fine. It kind of feels like you're not binding at all, but it still works. I did not expect it to work so well. After coming out of the water, I did have to readjust myself because it was not working quite as well, but I find that happens with all of my binders, that after a little while I have to go to the bathroom and adjust it. But other than that, I think that the binder was comfortable and it's effective and you can swim in it. and I think it's worth the money. I think it's worth it if you want to swim and bind safely. So I would definitely recommend it. This is from Underworks. I will leave a link to it in the description below. There is a company that is currently making swim binders. I don't know if they have actually started selling them yet, but they are in skin tones, and so it looks like you're, not wearing a shirt. It comes in many different skin tones, which is really great. I can leave a link to those as well in the description below. I have not looked into them or bought them or used them, so I don't know how they are, but I am looking forward to seeing them and seeing how other people like them and how they react to them. So as usual, don't be afraid to come and talk to me. If you have any questions about binding or about anything else, please feel free to contact me. All of my links will be down in the description below, and you can comment on this and tell me any tips and tricks that you might have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe for more. Bye, you guys.